Yo, what is the deal? What's up, my main man Drizzums? What's crack-a-lackin', Drummond? What's crack-a-lackin'? Doing call-ins as usual. Michael Bay, what up, my man? What complete bullshit move Floyd did. So, damn. I should get that. I should see if Roy wants to jump on right now. I'm gonna fucking text him. Fuck it. Fuck it. Floyd is a bitch. I'm talking about it now on my live. Let me know if you can jump on now. There we go. Floyd is a jealous bitch. All right. I just text Roy. Let's see if he jumps on. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not, but we'll see. Yeah, that was some fucking wild shit. What up, Jay Will? Oh, you didn't see Jay Will? Shit. I'm trying. Just text him. Okay. Wavy, you got a point. He didn't just start it with that. Floyd, remember they were like, what do you think about Floyd? He goes, who? He like, because he doesn't, so he, but there's a difference between saying, I don't respect you because you don't respect Muhammad Ali. Difference between that and showing a dude's knockouts. Like, come on. What up, Tony? That's a fact. Jay Will. That's a fact. Yeah. He just basically Floyd filmed himself sitting in front of his TV set watching Roy Jones's knockouts. When he lost by knockout. Chase, I don't know. I would go McCallum. I think he just hits too hard. And he was also as tall as Hopkins, so it would cause problems. Buffering, you are a fucking troll. How dare you come in this room and speak ill of Roy Jones? You should be ashamed of yourself. Hopkins by headbutt. Guys, phone lines are open. We'll see if my man Roy probably won't even respond because he's probably getting hit up by 1,000 people, but we'll see. We'll see. We shall see. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a big, stinking, filthy bitch? He has. Look, okay. Floyd had a longer career. He never got knocked out. He never lost. Well, he lost to Castillo, but never lost in the way that Roy did. But prime for prime, Roy Jones was sunning Floyd Mayweather in the pound for pound rankings. Pretty boy Floyd was actively fighting when Roy was in the late 90s. And nobody ever for a split second thought that Floyd would be above Roy pound for pound. Nobody. 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 What's up, Casey? The sport of boxing hasn't seen someone who ransacked it as selfishly as Floyd. Look, let's not shit all over Floyd. The motherfucker is one of the greatest who ever lived. But Roy Jones is the greatest who ever lived. Roy Jones is the greatest who ever lived. Difference. I might even make a video on this. It's not like me to get into this drama, but when you come for the head of the GOAT, right? That's when boxing needs to be broken down. just because Floyd was able to fight at a high level in his late 30s and Roy wasn't, okay. Primes are primes for a reason. Bert Sugar wouldn't agree. How the fuck do you know what Bert Sugar thinks? Floyd is the GOAT. We all know this. We all know this.
I must have forgot.
I'll take Leonard over Floyd. Me too. But that'd be, look, I'm not one of those all or nothing dudes. You guys know that. Floyd has a chance of beating any welterweight in history. Let's be real. I would go with Leonard because he whooped his dad's ass, and Leonard to me was just a little better. But Floyd has a great chance of beating Leonard and anybody. Right. Well, right. You know, but people could say when Floyd was 40, when Roy was 40, he was getting knocked out by Dennis Beldebiev or whatever his name was, and Floyd's making millions in exhibitions. So look, let's not bullshit ourselves. Floyd definitely, boxing wise, had a less got hit. When Roy was winning, he was way more spectacular, and way more unbeatable. More spectacular, unbeatable in his prime. His prime happened to end earlier. And let's be real, most people do not fight at the level Floyd does into their late 30s. Maybe now it's starting to transition that way, but in the 90s, it wasn't like that. Best win? I mean, Gotti, Corrales, a whole bunch of them, man. Whole bunch of them. Isaiah, Floyd put out a video watching Roy Jones getting knocked out. Just a video of him watching Roy Jones getting slept. Like 3 or 4 different knockouts. Petty. That's what Floyd does. He puts out videos of himself watching greats getting knocked out and counting all this money all the time. And apparently claiming to have bought buildings that some people say he didn't buy. I don't know. Roy doesn't do that shit. Roy trains people. He's classy. Roy never had to look. Roy didn't make the money Floyd made. So, you know, Floyd is a gimmick that worked for himself. You know what Roy's gimmick was? These meat beaters. These meat beaters, those were Roy's gimmick. No gimmick necessary. Hey, guys, you want to jump in? Jump in. Come on, Clea, call in. Stop playing around. Don't be shy. Philly Kalia. I just spread some Philly cream cheese on my daughter's bagel for tomorrow. Yeah, disgusting. It's makes me sick. But the dude did lose. He did get knocked out numerous times. It happened. We can't act like it didn't happen. He was a shell of himself. That's a fact. The last time we saw Roy fight at his peak was against John Ruiz. That's first fight against Tarver that he still managed to pull out from pure heart was not his. He was done. And he was never the same. Ruiz is the last fight we saw. Him being himself. Even against Trinidad, who he dropped and fucked up, he didn't go after Trinidad. He still had that he was apprehensive. Even against Trinidad, who he was mopping up. You still saw it there. You know, when he whooped Jeff Lacey's ass, that was an old Roy. He still had apprehension. He was never the same. Bert Sugar was a cigar-smoking old white fart, Drummond. Bert Sugar was a cigar-smoking old white fart who loved to hear himself talk. No disrespect to the dead, but he was. He would just go on and on. Loved hearing himself talk. So Floyd got pissy because Roy said Sugar Ray would whoop him. That, and I think there's also that clip of them asking Roy, where do you place Floyd all time? And he goes, who? He goes, Floyd Mayweather. Who? Then the guy starts laughing. He goes, you don't respect Muhammad Ali, I don't respect you. And Floyd doesn't respect Muhammad Ali. He said that too. So probably both those things. Bert Sugar. I couldn't stand Bert Sugar. That's one thing I didn't like about Max Kellerman at times. He would spew out too much boxing history in places and in spots where it wasn't even called for. Like he was just trying to like impress us and trying to show us how much history he knows. Like trying to like be a know-it-all kind of. Used to annoy me. Like motherfucker always brought up Willie Pep. No matter who. Larry Holmes. Well, Willie Pep one time. It's like, what? Sugar Ray Leonard the GOAT? All right. These race fans hate Mayweather? What's that mean? What's a race fan? My head is pounding. It's going to rain, isn't it? Yep. Rain heavy tomorrow night. I knew it. My head is killing me. Willie Pep never ran. That's a fact. Floyd better than Roy?
Get the fuck out of here! You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you?
Oh, and this is also for you, OC Shorts.
Y'all must have forgot.
Fuck out of here. James Toney going into Roy fight 1994 was on. Jay Will, bust this. I was sitting live in that fight with Shane's brother. Me and Shane's brother, who comes in here, we were watching that fight live in Vegas. So I know all about that shit. Undefeated being non-McCallum Barlow, ranked number 3. Sweepy. Yep. I don't know what he's talking about. Who's race bait? I don't even know what the fuck he's talking about. Nah, they shouldn't do no exhibition. I'm lucky? Come on, man. I mean, I am. I was also ringside. You could see me on the HBO broadcast. You see me clearly. Michael Moore, Evander Holyfield won heavyweight championship of the world. Undisputed, I believe. That fight actually might have not been undisputed. Bo might have already had one of the belts at that point. That fight gets overlooked because Roy was so dominant. Word. What up, Bob? Shut the fuck up, Bob. You know I'm cool with Sal. Like, that's my man. He used to perform at my club a lot. I mean, he was my man. The motherfucker stopped texting me back for some reason, but I'm leaving the business anyway, so fuck him. Who is greater, Floyd or Rocky? Jerry Soriano. How are you doing, my New York brother?
Feliz Domingo, amigos. Mic check. Marco, can you hear me?
We got you, man. I love hearing another New York voice. My man.
Hey, man, let me give you a little story, something no one's ever known about me.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm walking into my office the late night, but 1989, I was training in Naval Quarry Station with the Navy, Marines, and Air Force. I was an Army soldier.
Oh.
Okay. I was learning Morse code.
Gotcha.
And when I finally got past my first month, we were able to travel outside the base. Can you hear me clearly?
Got you clear, crystal clear.
We were able to travel outside the base. And back then I was playing basketball. And one of my good friends had made friends with Roy Jones. And Roy Jones came on base and we all played basketball. Very humble guy. As you all know, not much has changed with Roy Jones, you know?
Yep.
And ever since then, I followed his career. Roy Jones was one of my favorite fighters. Not to the level of your fanhood, my friend.
That's okay.
But here's what I would say about Roy Jones. Because when Roy Jones lost to Tarver and he went on that streak where he went up to heavyweight, came back, he was just never the same. I started looking back at his career and I started wondering why a guy so talented as Roy Jones, how could he fallen off the cliff so far?
Mm.
And then most of us are going to say, because he went up to heavyweight, he came down, he had to lose all that muscle, et cetera, et cetera.
That's what he says too. Yeah.
No, I was eating that popcorn.
Okay.
I was drinking that juice. Until later on, we move on. And, Marco, I don't know if it really gets swept underneath the rug. But do you know Roy Jones was part of the Balco investigation?
I don't even know what Balco is. What was that? Steroids?
You don't know what?
What's
Victor Conte, Balco?
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Roy Jones, Evander Holyfield, Mosley, they were all part of that investigation. They got swept underneath the rug because they testified against Victor Conte.
Mm.
You remember how Mosley looked at 135?
Well, I interviewed Mosley and we talked about it, and
he's not going to admit it.
Yeah, he claims Conte put
he's not going to admit it.
Cream on him once, but Mosley has one, and I'll let you tell your story. But Mosley has one valid point. He never popped. Roy did pop once. Mosley never popped.
The clear was undetectable.
Okay.
Barry Bonds was on the clear. Barry Bonds never tested positive for anything, and he's banned from the Hall of Fame. He ain't never tested positive for anything. Roger Clemens never popped dirty, but he's been banned. Listen to what I'm saying. Roy Jones tested positive for high levels of testosterone against Richard Hall.
And Hall also tested positive.
Both of them tested positive.
That's why they didn't no contest to fight.
And they got swept underneath the rug. Here's my thing with Roy Jones. When you say Roy Jones at his prime, Roy Jones in his physical prime was unbeatable.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the problem with that. Was he unbeatable because of his skill, or was he unbeatable because of his athletic ability? And that's where it gets deep. Because when he lost his athleticism, he was very beatable.
See,
so here's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right? Kobe Bryant, and I'm gonna reference you to NBA. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kobe Bryant stomps Michael Jordan out one-on-one. And when people they hear that, they go, "What?" I'm like, Kobe Bryant was never the most athletic player in the NBA. He was never a freak athlete in the NBA. He just worked real hard.
True.
Michael Jordan was always far and beyond the most athletic player in the NBA. And when I look at Roy Jones, it's a very similar argument. If Michael Jordan lost his athleticism, what would he be? So when we talk about skill sets, that's where you look at Mayweather and you got to go, all right, you knew who he was when he was Pretty Boy.
Mm-hmm.
You knew who he was when he was Money May. He
adjusted.
He beat Canelo at 36 and a half years old. The man was almost 37 and Canelo was 23. Could Roy Jones have pulled something off like that? And the answer is a resounding no, he couldn't have.
Okay.
So Marco, let me just get this out because I know where you're coming from. I agree with you. Roy Jones was in his prime, he was untouchable. But I think Roy Jones was untouchable because athletically he was on a whole different level. He could get away with just about everything because you couldn't touch him. And the kind of combinations he could put on your dome piece was like Mozart.
Michelangelo.
Classical music.
Absolutely.
But when he lost that ability, he had nothing to rely on. He had no fundamentals. That's why he can't teach Roy Jones. Because nobody's gifted like Roy Jones.
Absolutely not. But here's what I think. First off, he did start losing his skill set at around 35. But you have to understand,
not his skill set, Marco. He didn't start losing his skill set. His athletic ability.
But that was common. Don't forget, 90s, 80s. That's when dudes were retiring in their early 30s. Okay, so that was common. But I disagree with you. I don't think it was that. I think it's something that people don't like talking about in boxing, which is mental. His mentality. You're a basketball fan, right?
Absolutely.
Nick Anderson. Nick Anderson was
I remember,
a 90% free throw shooter until
he lost it.
Misses 3 or whatever in the finals, and then he dropped down to a career 4. It was a fucking mental thing.
Russell Westbrook, same thing.
I think Roy was mentally just done.
After what?
After he got knocked out to Tarver, I think.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Marco. He got knocked out. Mm-hmm. Roy Jones never was able to get touched like that in the chin. I remember, literally, I remember, you know why I remember my Roy Jones fights and I remember his every loss? Because incredibly, I used to go to a strip joint. And I'm not a strip joint guy.
Me neither.
But I used to go to a strip joint to watch boxing because that's how they would get like these normal, the guys that didn't visit and frequent strip joints on Saturday nights, they would bring like the sports fans and they would show all the pay-per-view events. And I remember looking at him when he got on the ropes, he felt so uncomfortable. Like Roy Jones used to be comfortable everywhere in the ring until he got to a place where he was on the ropes and he felt like a cat cornered.
Well, one can argue that the knockout happened because he had lost the weight and his body was weak. And then that triggered something in his head where he was just done. Because I have never seen, that was, to me, it was as severe as Nick Anderson going from 90% to 30%. Roy went from Superman from the planet Krypton to the fucking gas attendant from Nebraska.
Listen, if you're a Roy Jones fan, that's a good way to look at it because I was drinking that Kool-Aid for many years until I realized that he was on that Balco list.
So you think what, he stopped doing steroids? That's why he wasn't performing at high levels later in his life?
Looking at it now, not back then. Back then I was thinking like you. Oh man, he lost, all that muscle coming from heavyweight down. I was eating that. Too many things went wrong.
I never bought that.
Many things went wrong to just blame muscle loss.
It was
It was just like too many things.
To me, it was
the guy went. He got old overnight. He got washed.
Right, but you saw him.
But hang on, Marco. What people don't realize about steroids and performance enhancement drugs is that. And this is why I think that there's a level of it that should be legal, is because it helps you recover from injury. All of a sudden now, Roy, his shoulder was hurt. He had a pull. He just turned into an old man. You remember Bo Jackson when he tore his hip muscle, the bone came off the goddamn hip bone? The muscle ripped.
I agree, but he also lost he was clearly scared to get hit and he didn't throw punches. And that's not steroids. That's mentality.
But hold on, Marco. It's like let's look at, I don't want to look at Ryan because I still think he was like on Adderall or something. But when okay, here's a better example. You remember when Margarito faced Shane Mosley after Shane Mosley busted him for casts in his gloves?
Sure.
All of a sudden, he ain't have the same confidence, did he?
No.
He came out there going, oh shit, I can't hurt this guy. I'm in deep shit. And I think once Roy Jones, that Balco came out and either they were testing for stuff and he could no longer get away with what he's getting away with previously, that mental edge was gone. Now, look, I'm still a Roy Jones fan and I'm with you. In his peak, he was unbeatable. I just question now what his prime was really all about. Because he fell off the edge. That fall off was so bad. It wasn't even gradual. It was like he fell off a cliff, throwing a refrigerator off a goddamn skyscraper. It was so bad.
So you're ruling
that it was more than mental. It was more than physical. It was like it was just a different person.
Well, what else? It has to be mental or physical. So you're ruling out my theory of his mentality. He was just done. Don't forget, he has, his dad made him box. There's a lot of shit over the years that I feel like he's like, I'm done. I don't want to do
Marco, I'm with you. I think that if you're a Roy Jones fan, you people have to preserve history, and there is a case to be made. And years ago, a decade ago, I would have been saying the same thing you're saying. I just think that looking back now, he was protected from Balco. He testified against Victor Conte. It's like his positive tests and everything else was expunged from history. So the same thing with Holyfield, and Shane Mosley too, because a lot of these people may be too young, but Shane Mosley at 130, 135 was unbeatable.
Yeah, he was a monster.
Unbeatable.
Watch his fight against Roman Johnson. It was crazy.
No, he was like incredible. But there was that time period when we really weren't paying attention to performance enhancement that I think a lot of these guys got away with it. And it hurts me to say that because, like I said, I've met Roy Jones personally before he became famous. He had just came out the Olympics. And he was a good guy. And honestly, I look at him back then and I think of my memory of him, and he really hasn't changed, man. And that's hard to say of somebody that has reached the level of stardom. The guy is a genuine person.
The thing that sucks about your theory is he got popped. So I can't be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I can't say that because he got popped. But does it ever?
But nobody knows. Marco, how many people know Roy Jones popped?
Do you not? They don't really know, but
they don't know.
Do you not consider mistakes happen? And like he told me personally, yo, I got a supplement off the rack at GNC.
Yeah, but
you don't think that's possible?
Yes, one time for sure. But when I look at the body of it, Roy Jones was such a freak athlete, man. People don't realize the stuff he did was like cartoonish.
Yeah, but if
we'll never see it again.
If steroids can make you do that, Jerry, then mad people.
No, he was no. Let me rewind it. He was already a gifted athlete, right? Yeah. But then you add an extra layer of edge, and that made that superhero.
Yeah.
And I now looking back, that's the only way I can explain that he fell off so hard. Because even if it was mental, physically, he could have still been able to not lose to some of these guys. Like Tarver, at the end of it, was a good fighter, fundamentally sound. But some of his other losses, I mean, he disappeared. He was a shadow of himself. And it was like overnight.
You know what's crazy about that knockout, too? I always thought this. If you look, 1 second, Ian, let me say this and you jump in. Roy had his fucking hand up and the punch went around it and still hit him. He didn't do what he's supposed to do.
Because his instincts weren't there. That's what I'm saying. His reflexes, everything just disappeared. That's not mentality. That's something physical. He no longer had that physical edge. You can blame it on muscle loss, this, that, and the other. What I'm saying is he no longer had that superhero gene. What was that superhero gene?
Well, Ian, go ahead. What do you want to say?
Marco, you know you're my man, but you kind of sound like you like in denial. You know,
in denial of what?
That like what bro saying? Like bro, he's saying
that he's on steroids and his whole talent was steroid juice.
No, he's not saying that.
That is what he's saying.
No, he's not.
No, Marco.
Let me.
His edge.
Exactly.
He had an edge, and once that edge was gone, he was brought down to earth, and he wasn't gifted enough basic boxing skills to separate himself from the rest of the competition. And that's what I'm saying. Like, people can talk about Mayweather. Look, you can say whatever you want about Mayweather, ever. But when you look at his resume, does Mayweather ever look like Canelo looked against his last fight against the Cuban? Has he ever looked like that?
No. But wait. Hold
on. Have you ever came back and go, God damn, Mayweather fell off?
Ian, what am I in denial about exactly?
That steroids played a part in Roy Jones' career.
In denial, he got popped once.
I'm just saying, like, we all know his ways to get around. Like
I don't
detective
know. I
story.
don't take them.
Oh
if
my
I
God,
if
come
I
on,
was
Marco.
involved
Come
in
on,
that
Marco.
more,
Let's,
I
come
would
on,
talk
let's be
on it.
real. Let's
But
be real.
how do I
Marco.
know?
Let's be real.
Do you know? Do you know people use mad
Is
steroids
there?
and cover it up and go through all that? Because if you did, all
I'm just
jokes
saying.
aside, I would
Is
take your word for it.
listen,
But
listen.
I don't know.
Is there? Is there not like? Is there not ways to get around steroids?
I don't know. Do you?
Come on, Marco. Let's
No,
do some
you're
brain food.
misunderstanding me. I'm not trying to like fuck with you and make you feel. I'm literally asking you, and I'm telling you
Yes,
literally. You
yes.
know me. I'm not trying to like play
There's
with
ways to
words.
get around steroids.
I don't know. And unless any of you guys have been in the field of weightlifting or whatever, how the fuck do you know?
Because other athletes
Marco,
have done it.
back then, Victor
Exactly.
Conte
Back then.
knew how to get around. Back then. Today, different story. But back then,
Appreciate you, Bomba Bo Mason. Thank you. All I'm saying is I don't know. I don't know.
I want to bring
It's
up
not
one more
good that he
thing.
got caught, though. I'll tell you the truth. But I do believe people make mistakes. Go ahead.
I'll bring one more thing. And look, I don't want to be that dude, but look at Roy Jones' physique. Like, you just don't get that physique just off calisthenics, off just
What?
like, look how he was built, bro.
There's mad fighters who are cut up like that.
No. Not
What?
the way Roy was literally built different. Like go back and look at Pride. You know yourself. Roy was built different, bro.
Mike Weaver, like I can name mad fighters who were
And
cut
the
up.
crazy thing? They was probably on steroids too.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, if everybody's on steroids, then and Roy was too, then it's a fucking even playing field. If that's going to be your answer.
hey, Marco, you know it's crazy. You and I, how old are you, by the way?
48.
I mean, you're younger than me, but we being from New York, we came up around the same time, and we were probably interested in boxing around the same time. We remember a lot of
How old are you?
I'm a double nickel. I'm 55.
Okay, so you got me by like 7 years.
But here's another thing. Another one of my heroes, Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
I mean, back then in the 80s, early 90s, 90. I mean, no one talked about PEDs, man.
Thank you, Mo. Nah, I mean, I don't even know. I heard that they didn't even fucking test for him back in like the 70s. I don't know if that's true.
It was the absolute Wild Wild West. Listen, when I look at some of those fights from the earlier the 70s and 80s, those guys were so ripped. They were so ripped.
Can I make a comment on where
Go ahead.
Mo said?
Go ahead.
Like, I don't know who the other dude is, but his whole point was basically after Roy got caught for using steroids and he stopped taking them, his career went, to the bottom. You know what I'm saying?
He got caught for steroids way before he got knocked out. Way before.
What does that mean?
You're saying after he got caught and he stopped taking them. He didn't get caught and then stopped taking them. He still had a very successful career, years and years and years
so
after
when
that
did he get
fight.
caught for steroids?
He got caught once, but then he kept winning. It's not like he got caught that fight against Richard Hall, then he got knocked out against Tarver the next fight. He was successful for many years after that until he was damn near 38 or whatever, 35.
Don't make you susceptible to getting knocked out, though.
What's that?
Using steroids don't decrease your chances of getting knocked out.
Well, no, you just said after he got caught and then he got knocked out. You didn't know that wasn't right.
Listen. People don't remember, but the Balco case started in 2003. Let me give you some of the names. If there's anyone listening that's into sports, because some of these aren't boxers, they're baseball, they're Jason Giambi,
that's a
Barry Bonds, Marion Jones, the run of the track star, who was a hero to everybody.
Damn.
Bill Romanowski. I mean, Roger Clemens. There's some guys that tested against Victor Conte and like Roy Jones, like Evander Holyfield as well was in there. Mosley was in there. They tested against Victor Conte, and their testimony got expunged. No one talks about Holyfield and PEDs, but goddamn, when you look back and now the guys talking about Roy Jones' physique, brother, my man looked like an Adonis.
Yeah, but again,
biceps ripped.
Fucking Hagler.
basketball. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So did Hagler. Absolutely. And so the reason why I'm calling is I think that the more time goes on, the more Mayweather makes his case for being the greatest of all time. And let me tell you this, if we're talking about the greats among the greatest, because Sugar Ray Leonard is a great.
Let me ask you a question. Now, I go through this a lot. For me, establishing criteria of what the greatest of all time needs to be, we need to establish that before we proceed. For me, greatest of all time criteria is in their prime. I don't look at, because even though Floyd retired and performed well at the end of his career.
Here's the thing. When you're great,
the majority of fighters throughout history, legends, did not perform at the high level at the end of their career. They all suffered losses.
So exactly. So here's the thing. Hang on. I'm glad you pointed it out, because that's why he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest. We're watching it right now with Terrence Bud Crawford. Mm-hmm. People looking at Canelo like he's older than Crawford. Crawford is 3 years older than Canelo.
But Canelo has more mileage professionally.
Okay. Here is the difference. Of course, you got to take care of yourself, right? How you live outside of the sport. Mm-hmm. The difference with Mayweather, and you look at a Terrence Crawford, and you look at how he made Spence look in the ring, and you look at how Mayweather made Canelo look in the ring, and even when you compare a Mayweather with Sugar Ray, because I had to think about it real hard. I was a big Sugar Ray Leonard fan.
Yeah, me too.
I wish that the young fighters today, like Flo Schofield and some of these guys, will look at Sugar Ray and say, I want to be the next Sugar Ray. Mm-hmm. Instead of Floyd Mayweather. Because Floyd Mayweather makes it seem so easy, but these young guys don't understand how hard it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the difference between a Floyd Mayweather and a Sugar Ray Leonard, after I kind of really took a deep dive, in fight thinking and adjustments. Sugar Ray Leonard in some of his fights where he was struggling, and his corner man is trying to tell him, you need to do this, you need to do that. How he struggled against Duran, how he was struggling against Hagler, how he struggled against Thomas Hearns. He had a harder time making adjustments in the fight.
I agree. Who wins?
Whereas Mayweather or a Crawford, there is a silent confidence. Like, yeah, I got this.
I'm with you.
I got this. Listen, I'm pacing myself. The next round, I'm going to do this. And that's where I think that if you had a prime Sugar and a prime Mayweather, Mayweather would win on this 12th round decision.
But don't forget, when what's his face lost to Duran, he was just a wet behind the ears. He was in his early 20s. You know what I'm saying? Floyd showed that in later on. He showed that when he became Money May, he slowed everything down, became efficient, and that's when he started showing the experience. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Who do you think wins if welterweight Floyd fights welterweight Sugar Ray Leonard?
Easy.
All of you, everybody in the panel, who wins?
Sugar Ray Leonard.
I think
Sugar Ray Leonard, number one, was bigger, right? He was a bigger guy, taller.
Well, put him in at the same weight. You know, put a 24-year-old Leonard against a 30-year-old Floyd.
But what?
Marco, can I just ask this question?
Go ahead, Ruff.
This has been obviously a big debate that I've had with people in the past, which is, do you really feel like when Floyd was reigning over that 147 division, were there any other elite welterweights aside from Pacquiao?
When Floyd was reigning over Cotto.
No, Cotto.
Oscar, although Oscar was old.
I feel like once Floyd fought Cotto, Cotto was in the same Cotto that was pretty much battering over everyone.
Well, okay, yeah. If we're gonna get into that, like, yeah, some of them were maybe at the end of their careers or starting to digress a little bit, but nah, there. Floyd. Look, you could say what you want about Floyd. This motherfucker fought everybody.
Hey,
And
I'm
beat
not
them.
I'm not diminishing Floyd's skills. I'm just saying the competition, because you can't really match up the Four Kings era with Hagler, Hearns, Durant, and all those fighters in that generations versus this generation. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay. No, you can't. I mean, you can't. But I always like when people ask me the one fighter that I think there's two fighters I think would have beat a prime Floyd, and that's one's Leonard, the other one's Purnell. And even that though, I'm not saying they'd whoop his ass. Floyd, I'd say 60-40, maybe 45-55. I'd lean towards Sugar Ray and towards Purnell. But other than that, Floyd beats any welterweight in history.
Marco.
Well, my argument has always been that to me, Shane Mosley that fought De La Hoya the first time would put a whooping on Floyd. That's my opinion.
I think
Nah.
Mosley was too.
He wasn't fundamentally sound enough.
He wasn't cautious enough. Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, he was aggressive fighter.
Yes.
Listen, let's talk about what you're saying when Duran and Sugar Ray Leonard met. How old you say Sugar Ray was?
I believe he's in his early 20s. 22 maybe, something like that.
How old was Floyd Mayweather when he fought Diego Corrales?
Probably around the same.
Jerry.
23.
Nah, Jerry, that's disgusting. Diego Corrales is not a Roberto Duran. Come on, what are we doing?
Hang on.
Tell him, Mo.
Listen, we can leave Roberto Duran for another time. Roberto Duran was a guy who fought everybody. But check his record against the top competition. He lost a lot more than he won.
Yeah,
and I love Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
But his hype is a little bit overhyped. He fought everybody, but in his biggest moments, he lost. Okay? So let me get back to when Floyd Mayweather fought Diego Corrales, okay? And both of them were 23, January 2001. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Okay.
Diego Corrales, for most of your fight fans, was favored to beat Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Am I lying?
No, that was the last time. Well, Oscar was favored, I believe, and then Diego. Those were the only those.
Diego Corrales. Who would you compare? Because rest in peace, Diego Corrales. No one remembers Diego Corrales. He's a figment of the imagination. And that's what I hate when we talk about revisionist history. No one remembers at the time, like when Terrence Butt Crawford faced Prescott, first Gamboa. He was an underdog. Gamboa was the man. Like, no one remembers those things. When Floyd Mayweather faced Corrales, Corrales was the man.
Yeah. 5'10",
right?
Power puncher.
Power puncher, tall guy.
At lightweight.
He was a Fundura with a chin and knocking people out.
Yeah, mean too. Yeah.
Floyd Mayweather. We could almost equivocate it to what Bud did to Spence. It was shocking. Yeah. Knocked him down 4 or 5 times. His dad had to stop the fight.
I think Floyd's was worse than what Spence. Rob,
it was probably worse. That's what I'm saying. It's like people don't remember. Yeah. I remember thinking like, God damn, this dude Floyd is for real.
But the good thing was he didn't like Corrales didn't look as hurt as Errol did. So
no, he wasn't as hurt. His feelings were hurt.
Errol, feeling bad.
But beat the shit out of him in the Corrales fight.
Feeling bad for him, right? But this
Floyd embarrassed him.
Bob, were you gonna say something?
Yes, Jerry, you are a legend. But when we talk about greatness and people, George Foreman, what he did was greater than what Floyd made. George Foreman sat out all them years and beat a dude who was better than him. Michael Moore, he had no business beating Michael Moore. But he beat him, outthought him, and knocked him out. That's greater than what Floyd ever did.
And it's all subjective.
I could make that case.
It's all subjective. I disagree. But I don't think it's as a career as a whole. I would lean towards Floyd, but that's subjective, Bob. Nobody could argue that opinion because you have.
Listen, all I'm saying is that Floyd Mayweather's career aging like fine wine.
How could it not? He never lost. How could it not?
No, but people can say he ducked this. He was handpicking. Listen. It gets really tough. Listen to me. if you look at today's fighters, Tank Davis, I mean, we can go down the list. Imagine a guy that talks all the shit, hot shit. He's spitting hot fire because he just wasn't going into fights. He was telling you, I'm A class, you C class. I'm going to show it to you that night. Flashing money, women, he's here, he's there. And then he goes out and does it.
Yeah.
Imagine the pressure and the fucking balls it takes to carry that out every fight. And you're talking about these guys here, Ryan Garcia, you know, and I'm not laughing at it. But how many fighters today can't handle the goddamn pressure and they're into these deep depressions and I can't, you know, it's too much stress and, you know, mental awareness. And, bro, Floyd Mayweather talk the talk and walk the walk. That's what I'm saying. Like, I lived it and I remember thinking, God damn, I didn't like Mayweather.
So did Roy up until he didn't. But yeah, no, I didn't like Mayweather either. But I love
Mayweather won me over. Like he literally, like listen. I thought Pacquiao was gonna give Mayweather all hell. I thought Pacquiao was just way too busy. Yeah. He threw too many punches until I realized that skills pay the bills and you can neutralize a lot of this shit. And I'm like, Pacquiao's too wild. He really can't box.
Yeah, Floyd
he's just an aggressive fighter.
Floyd might have the best IQ of all time. Right. And adjustment capabilities. Absolutely.
And then, Marco, I'll take it one step further. Okay, well, he's never been hurt. You know, if you crack that chin, what's going to happen? When he fought Shane Mosley.
Yeah, he had a great chin.
Bro, my man got cracked and folded like an accordion.
Twice.
Yep. Bounced back like boom.
Yep.
And then proceeded to beat Mosley's ass in the same round. Like, you're going to have to kill me.
But
so now I'm going, what else is there to hate about this man?
But, you know, people, well, that was a 38, 39-year-old Mosley. Maybe
I don't hate Floyd, but his undefeated record is one of the most overrated things in boxing history.
Thank you, Jersey Bob.
Let's start with Conor McGregor. Let's start there. Okay. Let's go to I was just watching that Victor Ortiz fight where he sucker punched my man. But hey, I guess that what a great fighter does, sucker punch the dude. I just watched it last week.
Waiting for Pacquiao to get old and lose a step is walking the walk and talking the talk. That's crazy, Jerry.
I love how they talk about. Listen, I love how they always talk about Mayweather waited until someone gets old, until we look at Mayweather's age, and they're the fucking same age. Like, bro, come on, man.
That's true.
Come on. What are you talking about? He's older than these guys.
That's true.
Did he sucker punch
Jerry Styles?
Did he sucker punch Victor Ortiz, sir? Let's be honest.
Protect yourself at all times.
Sucker punch the man.
No,
protect yourself at all times.
Bob, I'll be honest. Victor Ortiz was doing some foul shit. And
hey, man, my man, hang on. My man said that, Marco, you gotta back me up on this because I don't know how old these guys are that are on the panel. But he says that his record is overrated, right?
Your age, but this guy talking Jerry.
He said his record is overrated, right?
Very much so.
All right,
Andre Berto. At the
listen. Let me give you a stretch.
Oh, I watched.
Listen, he fought. Hang on. He fought Zab Judah. Before that, Sharmba Mitchell and Arturo Gatti. Then he fought Carlos Baldomir, who was a champion at the time. After that, he went to Oscar De La Hoya. After that, he went to undefeated Ricky Hatton. After that, he went to Manuel Marquez. After that, he went to Shane Mosley. After that, he went to Victor Ortiz. After that, he went to Miguel Cotto. After that, Roberto Guerrero. After that, Canelo Alvarez. After that, Maidana, back to back. After that, he went to Pacquiao. And then he took a break and beat the brakes off of Berto and McGregor. Ain't nobody running those type of fades consecutive in a 5-year span like Mayweather. Put some respect on that man's name.
You know what?
Yo, you went off.
but Roy Jones was still a way more talented fighter. One went from middleweight to heavyweight and was just a better fucking fighter overall. And visually, Floyd couldn't touch fucking Roy. But yes, Floyd's record, I don't agree with Bob. I do think his record is crazy.
Hey, Marco, I'm checking out. God bless y'all. Have a good night, man.
All right, Jerry, peace out.
Oh shit!
Hey,
I want
Jerry,
to
come
talk.
back
Marco,
on more
Marco.
often, man. Yo,
Marco.
come on, Shane Mosley washed. I mean, let's be honest. We saw Shane Mosley was washed. Oscar De La Hoya was washed.
Negative.
I
He was
can't
watching the
say
Marco
Mayweather
was
fights.
okay.
Dude
Marquez was
washed.
Hold
washed, bro. He
on,
was
guys.
old.
One at a time.
So we saying who he just say
Who just said?
before Manuel Marquez? Who he say? Oh, De La Hoya. De La Hoya was washed.
De La Hoya was
Yo,
older. Yeah.
De La
I just
Hoya
wanted to
was
get
not
my
old.
opening statement in. I haven't been up
Go
yet. I just
ahead.
want to get my opening statement, and I'll be brief. I'm trying to get some context for the conversation. We speaking on a Mayweather versus Roy Jones. Is that the
We
context?
started with the whole what you heard what Mayweather did today, right? About Roy. So we started
Word.
with that, and then we started comparing,
No,
and then it just kind of went into just Mayweather, and you got guys like Bob who think Mayweather's record is overrated. So we're kind of talking
Mhm.
about that.
Okay, and then the dude that was just up, that was Jerry Soriano. Hold
That
on.
was
Jerry Soriano, Yolanda for
yeah,
life.
busting
Yeah.
my
Okay.
fucking eardrum out, but I love Jerry.
So
what,
I know.
what did he say
He
about
brings a
Roy?
lot of energy. Yeah. Give me 10 seconds, homie, please. No, I feel what he was saying. Yes, he ran it down. I didn't even. God, he had a chronology of fucking the back to
He
back to back
probably had it
fights.
pulled up, but whatever. It was a
And that
lot.
was okay, but that was a hell of a resume. So
Yeah.
I understand what he's saying. I tend to lean to that side, not in terms of like versus
The 12
Roy
seconds.
Jones. Again, the eye test, which is my primary metric, and I know that's highly subjective, is Roy Jones, but shit, comparable. I don't understand why
Roy
we have to
Jones was more
differentiate.
dominant. In his prime, Roy never had
Yes,
fights like Castillo or like,
I agree.
I'm just saying. But
I
then
agree.
he gets knocked out, and certain people, just that alone, they don't even consider Roy because he got knocked out. All right, whatever.
Let me land right here. I think his main thing was being, I wouldn't say overly ambitious, but going up to heavyweight and then coming back down in your fucking 30s. I think it was late 30s. That's a recipe for disaster. So I say that to say this. I heard people suggesting that Crawford do the same thing, go back down to 154 after the Canelo fight, and I could not disagree more. No, either retire or stay up there. 160 maybe, but I
Well,
wouldn't drop weight at all.
CJ, and I want you to comment on this, not to cut you off, but Jerry suggested that Roy was on steroids his whole career, and that's what gave him that extra edge. And your boy Samurai Yayin agreed with it. I disagree.
Well,
For you to say that, that's kind of
I'm gonna respond. Go ahead, Yayin.
That wasn't his point at all. But if that's what
That wasn't what?
Marco,
That was his point. He said that the dude
That was
had
exactly
the
his
edge.
point.
Of course it
If
was.
that's not what he's saying explicitly, that's what he
Y'all-
was insinuating.
Y'all got selective hearing, man. But can I ask one question? What did he say about Roy?
What? Who? Oh, what did who? Floyd say about Roy?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know what happened?
No.
He put out a video of him sitting, watching Roy getting knocked out, like 3 or 4 of Roy's fights. So it's him sitting in his like living room and you see the back of his head and the big screen, and it's just showing Roy getting knocked out. Real dirty shit.
Yo, that bleeds insecurity to me. They're both fucking retired fighters.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, people say he's in my class or he's better than me. Well, I'm a highlight. Well, I never got beat. That was always his main thing. Nobody ever solved the puzzle with Floyd Mayweather. So, okay, you say this guy's better than me. I'm gonna show you his flaws. Exactly. But again, his cardinal sin was going up and back down. Now, what point did you make just a second ago, Marco? I wanted to respond to that, but it slipped my mind.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What we talking about levels of greatness? Like I said, Roy Jones went to heavyweight. what feat did Floyd Mayweather do like that? Went to heavyweight and won the fight.
Hold on.
I'll give you another
30.
name.
Appreciate
James
130
Tony was
154.
fighting at 160.
Appreciate
He went
Jerry.
to
Come back in.
cruiserweight. He went to cruiserweight, and he went to heavyweight. What did Mayweather do compared to that? And James Tony wasn't even nowhere near his weight class, and still was beating dudes.
Look.
That's not greatness.
I can't argue that Roy has a better resume than Floyd because he doesn't. But I can argue that Roy was a better, more skilled, more spectacular, and you could say more accomplished going up those 6 weight classes fighter. That's all I can argue. But the resume, yeah, Floyd, everybody. And look, if you want to break down somebody's resume, you could break down everybody's resume. People break down Roy's. Well, James Toney and Hopkins were still young and not as good. Okay.
And then Hopkins was too old. Yeah, you could swing it any which way.
Yeah, people could
in the
swing
second
it.
one.
But
And let's be honest, Floyd avoided Keith Thurman. Can we say Keith Thurman? He wasn't fighting. Let's be real.
I mean,
Margot, let's be real. He wasn't fighting.
That's not like Keith was this crazy threat, though. You know what I mean?
Keith
was a
then was a threat. He was a threat.
I heard someone say this. Sorry, I just hopped over from Johnny's stream, so I heard someone say it over there that Floyd knew when he was washed. He knew when he couldn't take on that level of challenge anymore. That's an argument to be made. I mean, it's not the bravest thing. You want people to go out on their shield, but it is a solid point.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like that was mad petty. But to Mayweather's defense, Roy did start it. You guys saw that clip not too long ago where some guy, I don't even know who it is, he's being interviewed. He goes, so where do you
Andre
put
Ward?
No, it wasn't Andre Ward. It was somebody else. He goes, where do you put Roy all time? Where do you put Floyd, all time pound for pound? And then Roy goes, who? He goes, Floyd Mayweather. He goes, who? Then the guy starts laughing. He said, and then Roy just goes, look, Floyd doesn't respect Muhammad Ali, so how can I respect him? So he said that, and then he just said the thing recently that Sugar Ray can beat him. That's not going at him, being disrespectful. Showing his knockouts are.
I kind of got to disagree. The who is ridiculous because he could have just answered it straight up. I understand the point, but that is disrespectful. It is disrespectful.
That is a little disrespectful. That's true. That's true. But but that's how Floyd is, and I don't know why just now. I guess Roy just said something about Sugar Ray. I don't know what triggered this today.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what really got me was that Jerry said that there's some sort of like ahistorical rewriting of history, historical revisionism, and then he compared Corrales to Duran, dude. Okay, and one other thing. Since we were comparing Sugar Ray Leonard to Floyd, okay, Sugar Ray Leonard literally beat 3 of the greatest fighters of all time. Literally, Hearns, Hagler, and Duran. He beat them. No, but he beat them.
But yes,
I don't think that's questionable at all. I don't think that's questionable.
Hagler, yeah, that's the one I was highlighting.
Okay. Still, but he still won. Point being, we're comparing that to Mayweather. We're talking Robert Guerrero, bro. Andre Berto. Like that's who we're comparing. The guys that are on Floyd's resume, they're all-time greats and they're great fighters. But they're not literally the three of the greatest people to ever fucking lace up the gloves. Like Pacquiao, yeah, that's good. But Canelo, well, he beat him when he was like 22, 23 years old. Like
to me, it's like I agree. To me, it's like this: you take arguably Floyd's most dominant victories in his prime when he was punching would be either Gotti or maybe Corrales. And now, if you compare that to Floyd's most dominant victories, I mean, it's not even close. Floyd was so much more dominant and spectacular and untouchable. And that's kind of how I look at it.
You mean Roy?
You mean Roy? Yeah.
Roy,
you fucked me up.
Roy was so much more. Yeah, like you take any of Roy's super middleweight, even his light heavy, putting his hands behind his back, like he was way more dominant, and he was more dominant way longer. Floyd stopped being dominant and transitioned into just being safe and efficient and kind of being called boring.
You don't think he was dominant in that facet, but from a pure, whoever's talking, but from a pure boxing standard, you don't think he was dominant in that way, not knocking people out, but like.
No, he was, but I'm saying Roy, excuse me, I keep real quick. Julio Guzman, appreciate you, my man. Floyd was so great. Everyone tries to emulate him. Okay, Floyd, okay, so first let me answer what you're saying, CJ. Yeah, that's a form of domination, right? It's winning. It's winning. But Roy won and dominated. Floyd just won. Roy won and dominated. And now to Julio Guzman, he did shit. He was smart. He created that whole flashy hand pad thing that he knew people could fucking copy. It's like the Macarena. Why was the Macarena so popular? Anybody could fucking do this. Any white boy could do
Oh,
this.
no.
No, it's true. And Floyd did shit that he knew people could fucking emulate. And he was smart. So he once is emulated because he brought something new. Now you're talking about his shoulder roll. Yeah. That was super impressive. That I can't even, like, people all try to emulate that, but guess what? You know how many people I've seen get smashed in the gym trying to fucking shoulder roll?
They're trying to be cute. Yo, the
So
Macarena, I got to give you props for the Mac. That's something I would never have thought of an analogy. Yeah, I remember that. Salute.
Nah, man, like when shit's easy to do, people fucking copy it.
I'm
When it's
just thinking about it in my
popular
head. Yeah.
When it's popular and easy. You know what I'm saying? That's why you see everybody hit the bag like Floyd. Tap, 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 tap. Power shot. Tap, 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 tap. That shit anybody could do. You think he trains like that for real? No. That motherfucker does what I tell you guys to do. He pounds out power shots for hours at a time, but he knows what to do when the cameras are rolling. You think all this flashy shit, that's not going to help you in boxing, but he knows people are going to imitate it and think it looks flashy.
You look like a baseball manager. You're like a third base coach with those signs.
I was gonna say it's easier to emulate Floyd than emulating Roy Jones, so I don't think that's a good point.
It's easier.
Well, no, it's a great point because people don't have the athleticism to do what he does. So the marketability, he's saying that lends to his mainstream appeal. That's why more people try to emulate Mayweather than Jones because we can't do that.
Yeah, it's easier.
That's what I'm saying. No, that's my point. That's the point I'm making. That
I don't get it.
But let's be real with ourselves. Like,
wait. Hold on. Giant, I don't get it. You're saying it's harder to imitate Roy than it is Floyd, right?
Precisely.
So that's what I just said. So I don't get it. I'm confused.
So we agree. That's an agreement.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
okay. Yeah, me too.
Go ahead, Mo.
No, what I was going to say is, it's not that people don't emulate Floyd because they love the shoulder roll. That's so cool to do the shoulder roll. They emulate him because they want to make as much money as him. The same way how guys emulated Ali because they wanted to make money like he did. The same way why Ray Leonard took the name Sugar Ray Leonard because he wanted to make big bucks like Sugar Ray Robinson. He was biting off his style, just like people bit off Ali's style and so on and so forth. So let's not pretend that these young guys are propped up as the next Floyd Mayweather. Shakur is the next Floyd Mayweather. Carmel Mountain's the next Floyd Mayweather because they fight like him. They do it because because of the business aspect, because they're trying to make that money. Not because they're great fighters, all these things. Like, let's be real. Devin Haney, all those people that I just named off that they're labeled as like the next Floyd, they couldn't hold Floyd's jockstrap. Even though I talked them down, still they're not on the same level. But it's the money. It's not the style and all that.
Allow me to offer some slight pushback, Mo. I don't think it's strictly the money. It's about the risk versus reward. Like, I want to make hella money, but I'm not trying to end up with CTE like these older dudes that used to really get down. So this seems like a smart style. It seems lucrative. So I'm going to go with that. It's both, in my opinion.
It is. It's both. It is both. People want to be like Floyd because Floyd is an inspiration to a lot of young fighters, especially people that came from where he came from. Just like Tyson was. But Tyson's style was way fucking harder to imitate. You know what I mean? Floyd was a genius. Like, he was a marketing genius. What he did, I mean, he literally played the heel and he made himself super popular. He made himself the richest athlete in history from marketing because his style was fucking boring. As soon as he turned to Money Mayweather, his style was boring.
I'm glad you know what a heel is. I'm just glad you know what a heel is, Marco.
Yeah.
We got to break down Floyd's career because that Pacquiao fight, Pacquiao ain't come to fight. We know it was horrible. That fight was, Marco, you know that fight was horrible. Horrible.
It was boring, but I thought Pacquiao was trying. Floyd just had his number.
I thought something was wrong with Pacquiao. I didn't think Pacquiao had no chance of beating Floyd anyway at his best. But that night, something was wrong with Pacquiao. Like they said, he looked bad. He wasn't himself. He wasn't going to win anyway. But I mean, that's not like a great win. Like, wow, he beat Pacquiao. That wasn't Pacquiao that night. Whatever was wrong with shoulder, whatever his injury was, Pacquiao was hurt that fight. I really believe that. So, I mean, you won, but Pacquiao
And I
was
still
compromised.
I think
Marco,
Floyd would have beat Pacquiao worse if they fought 4 years earlier. Because that was still that I believe that was still Money Mayweather. That was still Pretty Boy for like when they were supposed to fight.
I agree with that, Marco. I agree with that. He would beat him worse 4 years earlier.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Marco.
what's up?
I disagree with that Pacquiao statement though, because there's even doctors that were saying that he's full of shit about a shoulder injury when he's saying he had a shoulder injury.
Okay. Maybe he was. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Pacquiao managed. I don't buy that bullshit because Pacquiao beat Keith Thurman 4 years later. He beat Tim Bradley. He beat Jesse Vargas, and he beat some other opponents. So people need to stop their bullshit about him not being the same.
Well, maybe if he had an injury, it doesn't mean it couldn't have healed. And you know what
Exactly.
I'm saying?
That's what I was thinking.
Though. People just make that excuse
I don't
because they
know.
hate Floyd.
I don't know. You might be right. Let me get a quick roll call though, please.
Who just talked? Because I can't see the name. See, who is that again? You just talked.
Me.
Yeah, what's your name? Hello. Okay, he's not saying. It's Mo.
I see Bob.
Okay. Yeah, Mo, Jersey Bob, and the Samurai, and then the guy who just came in.
Mystery guest. All right, it's all good.
The mystery guest, yeah. Yeah. So I mean,
Can I ask a question real quick?
Spit at me.
So if we say you look at what's like okay, you say you rank a fighter off their prime, right?
I do, yeah. For pound talks, yeah.
How can I put this? Okay, so with Floyd, how do you rank Floyd? Because most of his career he was in his prime.
His whole career was his prime, really.
That's what I'm saying. So
right.
Damn.
He got to be pretty high, right?
So I rank it. Yeah, absolutely. Floyd is top 5. Top 5.
Okay. I hate to say it, but I could consider it. I would say top 10 off the top of my head, but
could be top 10, top 5. You know, but there's an argument for number 1. There is. There just is. Like they're fucking.
I don't agree, but yeah.
Well, you don't believe there's an argument for it?
No. I do believe it's an argument. Right. I just don't agree that. Like, I wouldn't put him there. That's my opinion. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't put him over Roy. I can't put him over Sugar Ray Robinson. But shit. You know what I mean? Is there Julio Guzman? Appreciate you, my brother. Floyd versus Leonard. I would take Leonard. Hearns, Benitez, Duran. Okay, all of them. Floyd beats, contrary to popular belief, I think Floyd
round robin
sparks Hearns like he did to Corrales. I think Hearns was 2-1.
No, you're tripping.
I do. I think Floyd would adjust. All Hearns is just one. He's in one gear. You know what I'm saying? Benitez, I believe, was slightly overrated. Duran would have given Floyd some problems, but at 47, that wasn't the best of Duran. So I would have had Floyd. What about you guys? I'm gonna step away for a second. What about you guys? How do you guys see that one?
But Floyd fought at 135, and Duran at 135 beats Floyd. It depends on what weight.
I agree, Jersey Bob.
Well, yeah, but he's
Shane Mosley 135 beats Floyd.
I agree with that.
No. He's asking about 147, so I want to attend to that argument. Let me go down the list. Floyd, Leonard. No, that's Leonard. That's Sugar Ray. Hearns. See, I don't see him stopping him. He might outpoint him. Yes, okay. Benitez, didn't see enough of him. He was spicy in his prime, but I got Floyd. Duran at 147 specifically. That's Floyd. Y'all got it.
But so, like I was gonna say, I think Floyd is easier to beat at them lower weight classes because he was more aggressive. He was, easier to hit, and at 147, he couldn't touch him at 147. So I agree with people beating him at 135 and maybe even 140.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
No. So I have the only person on that list that I have Floyd beating is Benitez, and the only reason that I haven't beating Benitez because at 147 that dude was washed, but that dude had like advanced CTE, but by the time he was like 26, which is when he was fighting at 47. But all those other guys, like, are you kidding me, dude? Hearns would have just fucking jabbed his ass to death, beat him on points, the same way he beat Benitez. Like, are you kidding me?
Very possible. That's why I put it to points. But let me quickly interject, and I'll mute up. Duran at 147. Think about how old he was once he got to 147, and then judge it on that.
he was 28 years old when he beat Sugar Ray Leonard the first time. That was
Isn't that
like
crazy?
deep in his prime.
And he was considered old though, because he was out of
Yeah.
lightweight already.
Word, because he had just been up there for
He-
so
he-
long.
He was 28 years old, dude. At 28 years old, he decided he's gonna go up and campaign at 47, jump up 2 weight classes. That's fucking insane, dude. And we're comparing him to Corrales? That's nuts.
Rub Mo the wrong way. But this proves my point. How I'm saying, like, Floyd fighting at a high level, almost damn near 40, and then Roy kind of losing his prime at 35. Different eras. Duran was considered old and slightly out of his prime at 28 back then.
Can I speak?
Go for it.
I disagree with that Benitez part about him saying he had whatever the fuck he said he had at whatever age.
CTE.
Benitez went on to win the super welterweight title too.
I don't know that much about Benitez. I believe he was overrated, though. I do know enough about him.
Duran, the people talk about so much about Duran. He didn't really beat no one at lightweight besides fucking Esteban de Jesus and Ken Buchanan.
No, you're right. I remember going over Duran's career,
So
but he beat
to
everybody
me,
who was there, so it's not his fault, right? He fought
But,
everybody.
but he didn't just beat him. But he didn't just beat him though. He didn't just beat him. He destroyed them, like
still,
on some
people
Roy
don't give
Jones
Floyd
shit. He
that same
destroyed
grace.
those guys.
But people don't give Floyd that grace though. Man, he actually beat better people than Duran beat at lightweight.
He did. Floyd's a better fighter than Duran. I don't think anybody.
If
Well,
you
maybe
want to
some
count
people.
resumes, Floyd beat better people than Duran. Duran only got 2 people he beat at fucking lightweight.
Well, let's roll
70s.
call
No.
it. Hold on. Let's roll call it in the panel. Who here thinks? I think Floyd's a better fighter than Duran overall. What do you guys think?
I agree. CJ Rich agrees.
Easy work.
Okay.
I say Floyd is better than Duran.
You think Duran's better than Floyd, or Floyd's better?
No, I think Floyd is better, but at 135 is a fight.
It's a small margin. I agree with that.
So yeah, nobody's arguing that. I mean,
I'll argue it. I vehemently disagree. Okay, let's put it this way. No, but let's put it this way. Could you imagine Floyd Money Mayweather? Could you imagine Money Mayweather beating James Toney at middleweight? Could you imagine him beating Hopkins at middleweight?
No.
James Toney a fucking.
But you're bringing up.
I see the analogy you're making, but
he just beat fucking Barkley and Davey Moore. Like, he didn't beat no.
Okay.
Tony.
Okay. Could you picture Floyd Mayweather beating Nigel Benn? What about Nigel Benn? Did you picture him beating Nigel Benn?
Nigel's was too big and hard of a puncher.
That's why I be saying they be saying dumb shit.
So was Red Barkley. What are we talking about?
Barkley was 6'1". That's a big fucking dude. But Barkley was also he only has one claim to fame. That's the only man to beat Tommy Hearn twice. Everybody else Barkley fought, he lost to.
What was Nigel Benn's claim to fame?
Nigel Benn was knocking everybody.
Losing to Chris Eubank twice and then putting Gerald McClellan in a wheelchair?
That's why it's hard.
Marco. What's up?
That's why it's hard to argue with casual fans, bro, because a lot of them is too biased and they got too much hatred.
I wouldn't consider Mo a casual. Don't put that jacket on him.
Nah, Mo's not.
Don't put that jacket on him.
I feel you. That says H. Who is this? Because I can't see the name. Hello?
Boxing Talk.
Oh, what's up, man? It's not showing me the names in the StreamYard of the people who are coming in now, so I just want to get a roll call. What's up, man?
Yeah, I was about to
I heard you say that Floyd can beat Thomas Hearns. Okay, one thing about Thomas Hearns is Emmanuel Stewart would have had Thomas Hearns fight Mayweather for long range. How will Mayweather be able to use his pull counter on Thomas Hearns if Thomas Hearns is using his jab for the
you have to understand something. Okay, you have a good point, but you have to understand something. If Floyd stands in the middle of the ring and doesn't follow Hearns has no choice but to come at him. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, he don't have to really come at him because he had Hearns had a 70
long reach, yeah.
78 inch reach.
78 is crazy. I was going to say 74.
Yeah. Okay, 78 to 73 inch reach. So Hearns don't have to be aggressive. Mayweather would have to be aggressive. Herman don't have to be
Mayweather
aggressive.
had that. Look what he did to Corrales. Mayweather could
No,
leap
man,
in
look, no, you talking
like a
about Diego
panther.
Corrales. Come on, man. That's not Thomas
But the
Hearns.
point is, they're both tall. Floyd can hop in and do what he has to do when he wants to
But
do it.
Thomas Hearns can box. He showed it in the Ray Leonard fight. He can box at a high level. No, go look at the Ray Leonard fight again. The man was outboxing Ray Leonard, my man.
I
After he
really,
got hurt,
Listen to the man, Marco. Listen to
I
him.
after
really
he got
believe.
hurt, after Thomas Hearns got hurt, he turned into the boxer. At first, he was stalking Ray Leonard. Ray Leonard hurt him, and then he stopped boxing. He was out boxing Ray
No,
Leonard
he
for 4 or
was.
5 rounds.
He was keeping Ray at the end of his punches, but I really
Thank
do
you.
believe Floyd it wouldn't be that much of a reach where Floyd couldn't even touch him because he's that big and long. Like he would have been able to sit there and roll and do his thing. I really believe that.
Have y'all seen Thomas Hearns in person? You realize how big, how tall
He's
he
tall.
is?
He's like 6'1", 6'2",
Yeah,
maybe.
the man.
Yeah,
That
6'1".
man is a big man. he was just young enough to make welterweight. But like I said, I'm not saying Mayweather can't beat him, but that would have been a puzzle for Mayweather, like a puzzle.
And that's the
Floyd-
thing. Mayweather had that puzzle-solving brain. Hearns, to me, was one-dimensional.
Now Hearns
You're
That's the
tripping,
difference.
Marco. You're so wrong,
That's the
Marco.
difference.
Okay.
Nope.
disagree.
Boxing IQ. We bring it up all the time. Boxing IQ is the difference.
Yeah.
He can't keep it up at the end of his jab for the entire fight. Mayweather, you think he's just going to get jabbed out? Come on, man.
No,
quick,
he's
on.
not
Julio.
going to get jabbed out. He's not going to get jabbed out.
Real quick,
What I'm
guys.
saying is
Julio,
this.
appreciate
I'm
you.
saying is this.
Floyd versus Prime Chavez. I got Floyd. Pryor has a great shot at beating Floyd.
I got
Camacho,
Mayweather beating Chavez.
I got him beating Chavez. Camacho. So I got Whitaker definitely beating Floyd, and Pryor, great chance. The other guys, I got Floyd winning.
I like Pryor. Pryor is a wild card. He's a little bit too wide open for me to put my money all the way on him, but he got a chance to beat Mayweather. But he's too wide open for me. He gets a little wild in the ring.
He's crazy, yeah.
Hold on.
Drunken
But
Shaolin fist.
Mayweather loves when you get wild like that. He can just pick you apart. So I'm not saying that he can't beat Mayweather, but it's a really good fight. It's a really good fight.
Yo, don't act like Hearns didn't open up completely against Hagler, and that's why he got stopped so quickly. He can do that.
Yep. But look, Floyd didn't punch like Hagler, but yep.
Word.
Yep.
But let's not act like if Hearns hit Mayweather like he hit Hagler, Mayweather's out. Hagler just had an iron chin.
Well, Bob, when is
he cracked him,
Floyd,
and he wouldn't go down.
Floyd has a great chin too.
Stop. He didn't get hit by the same by like Tommy Hearns.
Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all this.
He didn't get nobody like Tommy Hearns.
Oh, that's true.
I'm gonna tell y'all why fundamentally those fighters back then were better. Because I'm gonna tell you one fundamental thing that's missing in boxing today, and that's the jab. Nobody jabs that much. You may get 5 or 6 fighters that use a jab effectively. Most fighters want to try to fight like Mayweather, throwing one punch at a time, throwing power punches, or trying to lead with power punches like Roy Jones. Most of these fighters do not use the jab, and that's why they get in these close competitions in these rounds, and they not separating themselves, which the jab will help you separate from your opponent, and it will set up everything else. And it dictates space in between you and the other fighter. A lot of these guys don't use their jab. But I'm gonna make a prediction right now. Terence Crawford is going to outclass Canelo. I said it. Wait till y'all see the fight. Y'all gonna see that he's gonna outclass that man. I'm gonna drop 2 gems on my channel, and I'm gonna tell y'all how he's gonna beat Canelo.
Well, he might.
People
Who's going? Oh, go ahead.
People keep talking about Floyd. Shit, Floyd is smaller than Tommy Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard naturally.
Yes. But they did fight at welterweight, all of them. So we're trying to match up those welterweight versions.
But in skill wise, he's kind of equal to Ray Leonard, though. He's just smaller.
I think Ray was faster and hit harder.
I got Ray Leonard in that fight. I got Ray Leonard just too.
No, I know. No, I'm not disagreeing. Ray Leonard will probably win. He got more power, but I'm saying technique wise, smartness, ring generalship, everything else. Ring IQ. they kind of is equal. Ray Leonard may be faster and popular, but he's also naturally bigger than Floyd.
Yeah, that's true. He's naturally bigger than Floyd. I thought Floyd was at his best at 35.
So I'm talking about for
So we're talking
technique
at
wise.
147, right? Let me interject real quick. That you're
Technique
right.
wise, they
Sugar
are
Ray,
equal.
Sugar Ray's speed, like punching, hand speed, and power, definitely. All the other things, ring IQ that you mentioned, yes, even. But then not Sugar Ray, but Floyd in defense.
And I
So
hate
yeah, that's why I slightly favor Leonard. But yeah,
I
good
think
take.
I hate to say this, but and I know what you guys are going to say, but hear me out. Look what Sugar Ray did to Floyd Senior. Now I know they're different,
that's different.
Way different.
but similar.
Nah. His father didn't bend at the
we
waist.
can't do
His
that,
father
Marco.
didn't bend at the waist like Floyd
Maybe
did.
not.
He didn't bend at the
Maybe
waist.
it's unfair, but it does show you just a slight example of what he would do with a style similar. Because he figured that shit out in like he had a master lock combination.
I can't
Marco,
condone it.
Everything.
I'm nothing like my father, so this based on that, I can't condone.
Well, everything changes because Mayweather's a whole lot. I mean, not Mayweather is shorter than his father, so the punch trajectory would change. Mayweather actually bend at the waist better than his father. It's just
That's true.
subtle things he did
Marco,
better than his father.
What's up?
Marco, I'll do you one better. Go watch Ray Leonard out jab the jabber and Wilfredo Benitez. Wilfredo Benitez was one of the best defensive fighters, if not the best defensive fighter of his generation. And Ray
Yes.
Leonard went out there, he out jabbed him, he outspeed, he was like, he showed that he was head and shoulders above this kid who was a fucking boxing savant. Out jabbed him and then brutally knocked him out. That is exactly how that fight with Floyd would go. He's just too fucking fast. Like it's he's too fast, he's too long, he's too big, he's too strong. It's the same thing with like Roy Jones. Like he's just way more naturally gifted. Life's not fair, but it's the truth.
Oh yeah, let me.
I'm with you.
I got a comment about that. Now Mayweather, I know he got mad at Roy because Roy said that he couldn't beat Sugar Ray Leonard. Like Mayweather, just take it with a grain of salt. He just stated his opinion that he think he like Mayweather is so insecure for a guy that
He
went
is.
undefeated. He is so insecure.
That's the
Why
point
is
I
he
made.
that
You got it.
insecure? He
I'm
went
with you.
undefeated. Like why be that insecure, my man? You went undefeated.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like come on, man.
My thing
Go ahead.
My thing I hate about people, the thing I hate about boxing fans is they hypocritical. They be the same ones talking about Marciano, this and that, when he's the most overrated fucking heavyweight of all time. But yet they shit on Floyd.
Floyd is great. Look, people say Rocky Marciano is over.
Marciano to me, bro, he's the most overrated heavyweight of all
You gonna
time.
call
Why
him
is he so
overrated?
overrated?
Okay, you gonna call him overrated, but you only can fight the guys that's available in your era.
Absolutely.
Well,
You
Floyd
can't.
did too.
Yeah,
Huh?
Floyd just
did
had more
too when he beat
competition.
him.
Floyd had legends in his era.
See, Rocky Marciano. The thing about Rocky Marciano, he was
But he
right after
defend
Joe.
Marciano.
He
Well,
was
look,
right after.
Marciano beat two of the greatest fighters of all time, but they were old. But he did.
Yeah,
beat
he
them.
was after Joe Louis, and then
Joe Louis
after
and
Joe
Archie
Louis,
Moore are two of the greatest.
After Joe Louis, y'all got to look at it. The heavyweight division for a little while after Joe Louis was kind of down. So Rocky Marciano, but Rocky Marciano can only fight the guys in his era. Come on, y'all. Like you can't penalize the man for fighting the guys in his era.
Absolutely.
Brother, you sound like a cone, man. You defending Marciano.
No, hold on.
Mayweather
Let me back this point up with facts, because I don't think that's where he's coming from. Answer me this: who did he not fight? Who did he avoid fighting?
Real quick.
Rocky Marciano
let me
didn't
read
duck
this super
anybody.
chat, guys. Hold on 1 second, real quick. Don't be surprised if Manny versus Floyd 2 if Manny wins. Yep, I've heard rumblings.
Okay.
Go ahead, guys.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Who did he not fight? The homie that called him a coon.
No.
Who did he not fight?
Dude, what you calling me a coon for, man? Just come on, man.
You sit up here call Floyd record overrated, but you sit up here defending Marciano when he ain't fight nobody.
I said Mayweather is insecure for a person that went undefeated. He should not be that insecure.
Earlier, you said his undefeated record is overrated. I'm just want to know how.
No. I didn't say his undefeated record is under. I said
that
he
was
should
somebody
not
else.
be that insecure He should not be insecure about Roy Jones' opinion.
Agreed.
So, see, you got to listen. Listening is a skill. You know that, right? Listening is a
No,
skill. It's a skill that you need to adapt in life.
I agree, but I want the homie to answer my question. Who did and I'm not the biggest Marciano fan, don't get it twisted. But who did he not fight? Who did he duck?
No, he
He
fought
came at the
everybody.
wrong time. He ain't about who he ducked.
Here's the problem. He
Well,
fought
how can you
everybody.
control that?
Hold on. He fought everybody, but they were all old, and he only held the belt for 3 years. That's one of the biggest criticisms. He was only champ for 3 years, and he retired at 32, I believe, or 31. But
Yeah,
that's when people retired back then.
He got
Gotcha.
wins over
Not his
fucking
fault.
Roland
He didn't duck
Lestar.
anybody.
Who the fuck is this?
And let me say one thing to say that he's overrated. Yeah, he fought old legends, and he only held the belt for 3 years. But Rocky Marciano was at least 20 pounds lighter than every heavyweight at that time. So he had that disadvantage in every fight. He was 185 pounds in an era where dudes were 200, 210 on average.
Marco, can you give me the drop real quick? Can you give me the Rocky Marciano drop?
Oh, yeah, of course. When we talk about Rocky, we got to do the drop. That's a fact.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass.
Although I didn't bring him up this time, but I got you.
No, I feel you.
I'm saying people calling him a top 10 heavyweight though. That's what I be saying.
Well, I mean, you have an argument for that, sort of.
You have an argument for him to be a top 10 heavyweight.
But I get why you're
No,
saying
the
he's
fuck you
overrated. 'Cause
don't.
I get that too. It's a real kind of tricky situation.
It is.
You know what I mean?
I feel that.
But he's also, 49-0. No heavyweights ever achieved that record. None.
Yeah.
No heavyweight champion, at least.
You got to give him that. You got to give him credit, man. For
knocking dudes out at 5'10", 185 pounds, knocking them all out.
But it be the same people though talking about Floyd though. That's why I'm talking.
Nobody said nothing disparaging about Floyd Mayweather.
No, I wasn't bothered. It wasn't
nobody said nothing disparaging about Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd had a better
A lot
resume.
of people in the chats do. A lot of people in the chats do.
Maybe in the chat. Floyd had a better resume, but Rocky was way more exciting. Rocky was knocking motherfuckers out up until the very end.
People like rolling the stars off.
Can we stop bringing up I don't like that argument. The excitement factor. If you winning, you that's being dominant.
That's your opinion, not to me, not to a lot of people.
People like rolling the stars off.
A lot of people
thought
Floyd was boring at the end. A lot of people. A lot.
I thought after Mayweather,
he knew he was boring. That's why he had to reinvent his whole fucking persona.
I thought after Mayweather,
he was always like that.
After Mayweather after he beat De La Hoya, I think he just didn't care. He just wanted to make a lot of money. But before that, when he was Money Mayweather, he was letting them hands go.
Real quick,
when it was Pretty Boy, you mean? Yeah.
That question here.
I mean, Pretty Boy, he was letting them hands go.
Better resume: Marciano, Holmes, Klitschko. Klitschko, no.
I would say Holmes.
Has to be Holmes.
Gotta be.
Has to be Holmes. Yeah.
I'm going with Holmes. Yeah.
Yeah, not even close.
I mean, if you want to, hold on. But look.
Wait. Hold on. When we look at resume, you could argue Marciano because he has Joe Lewis, Archie Moore, Ezra Charles, Jersey Joe,
Archie Moore,
all wins, but they're old. They're all.
You said it. Yeah, you said it earlier. Yeah, they were old.
So technically, that's a better resume.
This is what I'm going to do with the old thing. This is what I always do with the old thing. If those old dudes would have beat him, then that would have been held against him. So you got to give him credit for beating him.
But
You can't just say they was old, because if they would have beat him, then we'd have been dumping on him for him losing to old dudes.
Truth.
So come on,
Charlie
y'all.
Klitschko got beat by Lennox Lewis, and he was 37 years old, about to be 38.
Lennox was 38 when he beat Klitschko, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, but he was getting his ass. He was.
Yeah, because
hey, he found a way. He found a way, champ.
Yeah,
TKO 6.
Because he was losing, because he was getting old.
He was getting, and he did what Roy didn't do. After that fight, he's like, "Fuck this! I don't need to prove myself." Because Roy, when he looked so shitty against Tarver, he couldn't bear not to go prove everybody wrong. He couldn't say to himself, "I'm fucking 36. I've been boxing since I'm 9. I should step away. I've won every belt and its mother." He couldn't do that. Lennox did that.
Yeah, he should have left it alone. He should have left it alone after that Tarver close fight. He should have just left it alone.
He should have really. If he would have walked away after Ruiz, I think
Ruiz, that's it.
we would have been like, he's the greatest, or at least
Hey,
top
look,
3.
if he would have walked away after Louise, people would have been arguing that he was the greatest fighter ever lived.
Ever lived.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. But he didn't. I asked him, I go, what do you regret? He told me that. He goes, you know what? And when I see the way people talk about me now, this was me and him talking. He said, I would have quit after the Tarver fight, first Tarver fight. He's like, I would have walked away. But shoulda, woulda. You know what I'm saying? He's fought last year or some shit. Motherfucker, he can't stop.
Yeah, he got a.
That's crazy.
Right?
Advise
And
him.
people,
You're in contact with him. Tell him to hang it up.
I texted him tonight to come on the show, but he didn't get back to me. Julio Guzman,
that would've
another
been
one.
dope.
Julio, I appreciate all the extra crispy 2 pieces. It's like a McDonald's up in here. So many 2 pieces. Lennox beat Vitali, not Vlad. Right.
That's what he said.
Yeah, he said Vitali, I think, Julio. I don't think he said Vlad. But I mean, really, what's the same? Vlad, to me, was probably one of the most boring heavyweights, dominant heavyweights in history. Like
Jab hold or 1-2 hold.
Jab hold, push head down. And nobody ever warned him. They just let him do his thing because he was fighting in Germany on his home turf, even though he's not from Germany, but that was where his following was.
Right.
Yeah. They let him do whatever he wanted. Well, I mean, 9 years of just boring.
Also, people talking about Roy. Roy took was on PEDs and all this, but they still talking about Canelo. Could they forget Canelo Alvarez with his meat situation? Or what about Tyson?
His meat situation is crazy, but no, I feel
Tyson
you.
Fury.
They do overlook that.
Tyson Fury. Fury. He took some roids in February 2015. Nobody don't talk about that either.
Damn, Fury got popped for roids. I didn't know that.
Yep, but before the Klitschko
Yeah, what was
fight.
it? I forget the name of the substance, but no, he's right.
Damn,
it was the
lied.
cocaine and that shit.
You know what they
He said
say,
some
man?
fucking boar. He said he ate some
Everybody's
fucking
doing
boar
it.
meat.
That's what they say. Everybody's doing it. So I guess.
Did you do it, Marco? I mean, let's be real for just one
I
second.
look like I did it to you.
Touche. I
could
feel you.
use some of it. Maybe. Yeah, I could use some steroids. Nah, man, never. And I didn't know anybody who did it. I like when all the years I'm in. I mean, nobody ever was like, "Yeah, I'm doing these fucking." Yeah, I never knew people, so I didn't think it was.
No,
Alexander.
I'm gonna be real. Just not because you used to box, but also like I literally know dudes that pay or play co-ed rec league softball that do fucking steroids, like a handful of them. Like, damn, is that serious? But
damn, yeah, that's crazy.
I thought I would ask. It's not worth it.
That's wild though that Floyd came out his face and did this shit. He did it today, I believe. Do you guys know? Was that today? Had to be.
I only saw it because Two Tone did his little Twitter reaction video, which was kind of funny, but
yeah.
Otherwise, I would have never seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. People were sending it to me left and right.
So,
they know
can I ask you a question, Marco?
Spit at me, dog.
Like, truthfully, like, just briefly, how did that make you feel when you seen it?
When I saw Floyd do it?
Yeah.
Bewildered, upset, sad. Nah, that shit was upset. It was actually kind of upsetting. It was like, oh man, like fuck. And it also made me feel like Floyd's being mad petty too. Like, why the fuck? Like, but I also kind of understood it because I heard what Roy's been saying about him lately. So I wasn't, it was a little warranted. I won't front. It was a little warranted. But it's petty. Like, but Floyd to me, like, I wouldn't fight John Gotti twice. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's a lot of things I wouldn't do if I was him. That's just how he is, and he has the right to, react how he wants.
Yo, I'm just reflecting right now. It's crazy that both Mike Tyson and Roy Jones have outright disrespected Floyd Mayweather. Like, don't consider him in their class.
He's not you can't take his kid to school without bodyguards.
Exactly.
He's a scared little man. He's right. But that doesn't mean he's not a great fighter just because he's scared of,
I forgot. Mayweather got more wins than 50. Them women he beat up. Can we add them to his resume?
Man. Oh, shit.
Come on, champ.
Bob does not like Mayweather. And it's midnight now. Bob's about to start going off.
Right.
I don't blame. Look, man, Mayweather rubs a lot of people the wrong way.
We know Mayweather's a scumbag. We all know that. But there's a lot of scumbags. He is. We know he's a scumbag.
Ian loves Mayweather. So, what are you going to do? you know, I mean,
Greatest of all time.
I mean, he went to jail for
man.
beating women, right? That's why he went to jail.
Was that great? Was that great, Yayan?
Was that a good hook that he landed? No.
Oh shit.
We talking about boxing, not people's personal life.
Yeah, he
I'm
was
just fucking with
boxing
you.
this girl. He boxed her, right in her fucking eye socket. He
Because
boxed her.
if we being real, Mike Tyson went to jail for, you know, like, let's keep it real.
No,
That's
no,
true.
you can't
And they
do
both-
that. That's
They both denied it though, like because Floyd never admitted it, right? He said, "Nah, I didn't hit her," or did he admit it? Because Tyson denied it. So that's what.
yeah, I can't speak on that, but I do know my favorite fighter, Tyson. I appreciate the comparison, homie, but let me respond to you real quick. No, he was like adamant. You know, man, I can look in a man's eyes, not to say I know the man personally, but he was really like serious about, no, I never did that. He even told the reporter, he went so far, I don't want to get your channel flag, Marco, but I got to say, you know, just to quote Tyson, when it was like Greta Van Susteren or somebody asked him, did you do it? He was like, nah, but how they ruined my life. Now I wish I did do it to her and her mother because they fucked it. You know, they fucked my life up. They ruined my life. So yeah.
No, he
So
was
that's
adamant.
Yeah,
they
to
didn't do
me,
it. And
that's
I
a man
believe-
that really means that shit. Like, no,
I
fuck them
kinda
forever.
believe him too. I kind of believe him too, but it's like, but then again, like if it really happened, I feel bad for the girl. But then, and then I understand from what I remember, she had history of accusing other people, if I remember correctly. The whole shit.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so
It was very fishy. So
Floyd also denied hitting the girl, right, when he went to prison, or did he? Just
okay, which again is much less serious. I obviously don't condone either one, but
that is
yeah. But I think he just put up some money and bailed out. I don't remember how it went down.
Yeah, I mean,
And
a lot of fight. Go ahead.
And what the fuck is personal life got to do with anything, anyways?
That's what I
boxing.
just said.
We talking about boxing, and this
that's what I
asshole
was
bringing
gonna
up
say.
the personal life. What the fuck they got to do with anything?
That's what I was gonna say. If we
brought
being
up
real, a
Oh,
lot of
Bob
people.
brought
I don't think I brought it up. I responded to it, but if I'm the
brought up-
asshole, I'll be.
Rob
Okay.
brought up that Floyd's a scumbag. That's how we got there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, like I was saying, like if we being real, like a lot of boxers is, you know, scumbags, and we just don't like Mayweather because how he did it, how he presented himself.
And how was that?
Flashy, flamboyant, you know.
Like
arrogant.
You just like Broner so much. You got to.
Broner was different. Broner was like,
you got to
was like
support his idol.
Floyd was my favorite fighter before I even knew who Broner was.
Broner did a Walmart Floyd impression. I'll tell you that.
You remember the boxer Carlos Mazon?
Of course.
Yes.
He went to prison for killing his wife in 90 back in the day.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. I just seen a video.
Yeah, I heard about that. I just recently saw a montage of fucked up boxers that did fucked up shit outside of the ring. You know,
I don't think
was on
anybody
there.
beats Valero like that. He takes the cake.
Word. He was on there too.
Yeah.
Didn't Ike Biabucci do some monster too?
He did one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. He raped a hooker, so he's already paying for it, and he decides to rape. Like, how are you raping somebody who's there to do that? He denies it though.
See. Okay. I'm not gonna even speak on it. No.
I don't get that. That to me is the craziest shit. That's the craziest shit. You rape a hooker? Who? What? That's like
it would seem impossible. Like that's an impossible crime, right?
What up, Julio? Appreciate it.
Yo.
Wait, is it
stop the big show? Roy just beat Ruiz. Okay, we got jokes.
I mean, is it only rape if he don't pay?
What?
Damn. Yeah,
I'm glad I didn't hear that because it sounded foul.
I mean, like, how do you rape?
No, he basically got super rough and started going above and beyond, I guess, what she was comfortable with or some shit, or didn't let her leave or just some crazy shit. Yeah, I don't know the details. Yeah, but it's crazy. But, you know, who was the Puerto Rican fighter like 3 years ago that killed a girl?
Felix Verdejo. Felix Verdejo.
Okay. What do you know? What was the backstory to that?
He killed his wife. Talking about the he used to be a lightweight, light welterweight, something like that.
Damn.
He got locked up in
Nah, she was a side chick. And got
something
pregnant.
like that, yeah.
And then he killed
She got pregnant. Okay. Wow.
Damn.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
That's fucked up.
What's up, Perusha? Dope name. The very reason Roy and Mike bitch about Floyd is the reason Floyd beats them if they're in the same weight class. Floyd's psychology is superior to any outside of Sugar Ray. I like
See,
that.
I think he was a bit smarter than Sugar Ray. Not much,
He
but I think
probably was, but I think Sugar Ray's physical skill would have and size would have overwhelmed Floyd.
Yeah, that's why I sided with him. Yeah, exactly that.
And Purnell, man, Floyd would have been in the ring with the only person who had better defense than him. He wouldn't have known what to do with Purnell.
Put him in the Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing that I don't understand about Floyd Mayweather fans is that it'll be sunny tomorrow and they'll find some way to be like, oh, somehow Floyd Mayweather did this. Like, he was great.
That's talking to the samurai directly. You're cutting out, Mo. I wanted to hear this too. You just cut out. You cut out.
Mo's always on the road.
It's all those fucking carbon dioxide fumes.
I gotta shout out CJ because I actually like that nickname. That's a dope nickname.
What, the samurai?
Yeah, I like that.
That's what's up,
that
man.
didn't come up earlier. I mean, if Yayin isn't a samurai, what else is it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Real shit.
No, it is. That's a fact. Get all South Bend calling you the samurai. That's some dope Godfather shit. The samurai, have him bow. You got the show enough hair too. You're good to go. Only CJ would get that one. Who show enough is? Bob, you know who show enough is, right?
For real.
Yeah.
You just didn't think it was funny. All right, cool. Floyd, Tom, and Jerry boxer mostly boring. The end of his career he was boring, but the beginning he was knocking MFers the F out. I just heard an echo. All right. So what else we got going on? Oh, Johnny's in the chat. What up, Johnny? You got away with it because he's God. What's up, Johnny? Kiss my Converse. You know it, Rude Dog. I just watched that movie with my 11-year-old son. He fucking loved it. Dopest karate movie ever. Money May ducked Pretty Boy. I always say this if I ever interview Floyd, and I've never heard anybody ask him this directly. I'm going to ask him who wins in a fantasy matchup. I got one you've never been asked, and he'll be like, "What?" I'll be like, "Money May versus Pretty Boy. Who wins if they fought each other directly?" I'm so curious what he would say. I think he would go with his older version of himself because he's had more success financially that way.
Yeah.
I don't think he would answer the question.
You don't think?
No, he would say that. He doesn't really like dodge questions. I remember those old Brian Kenny interviews. He would sometimes answer in a roundabout way, but no, he would get down to it, and he would definitely say, "Yeah, money. Who is more successful? Who had more names on their resume? Who is a great champion?
That's not a bad. Wait, who's doing that? Mo or CJ?
That was me. That was CJ.
That was pretty good. Yeah, he's like most dominant fighter. Most dominant fighter. Yeah, I mean, I think Money May I think Pretty Boy whoops Money May if they fought each other.
You understand that because you think he was born?
No, I just think Money May.
No, bro.
I think
he was
Pretty
smarter,
Boy
more
was too
calculated.
Huh?
Like Money Mayweather was smarter of a fighter. Dictated like anybody he was in the ring with, he dictated their pace.
What's he going to do with himself in front of himself, but way faster and harder puncher? What's he going to do with that? He's going to get fucked up.
What? I have no response to that.
I noticed.
Go ahead.
I noticed the main group of people who seem like they hate Floyd the most is people with Clarissa last name. From their community, it seemed like they got the biggest hatred toward Floyd more than anybody else. I bet she's talking about Hispanics and Mexicans for whatever reason. Seems like they hate Floyd. You go across YouTube, you see the Gonzaleses, the Lopez, all these people make negative comments. It's always them, for whatever reason.
So you're saying it's a racial thing?
I don't know. For whatever reason, if you don't pay attention, it's always people that's like them that hate Floyd the most.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Floyd also did play that though. He played that whole. He wore the sombrero. He tried to piss the Mexicans off. Remember? But that was a
They
genius
ain't,
part of his
I
marketing.
doubt that ain't got nothing to do with it though.
You don't think?
No.
All right. Well, it's hard to tell. Hard to tell. Floyd loved it. Floyd loved
Yeah.
pissing people off. That was the
No.
key, the cornerstone to his fortune and his fame.
He embraced the hate. I don't know why I say no when I mean yes, but no, I completely agree. Yeah, like you said, he played the heel.
He sure
Who is
did.
that just spoke before you, Marco?
You never told us his name, but
Casey.
Casey.
Oh, Casey. Okay.
Casey.
Is this Casey Cook?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was you.
Oh.
Like I said, I can't see the name. I
That
don't.
been me
Salute.
talking
I
the
seen
whole
you in the
time.
chat, and I wanted to respond to what you said. I do notice, I do notice a trend across most boxing channels, but I do try to take every individual on their own merit. So, like,
I
shout
don't.
out to Mo Brains. He
I
ain't,
sure the fuck
you
don't,
know.
because you see it too much.
Oh, I feel you, but not everyone is a race fan. Just like not everyone is just gonna root
Not
for
about
a
what I
black
see.
fighter blindly. We want to see it objectively, and some of them do it too. Shout out Mo Brains. Alberto is somewhere in the middle. Shout out my homie Alberto. But no, there's a few that can see it objectively. So I do recognize what you're saying. I want to acknowledge that, but still give them a chance. Just because they got a Hispanic last name, don't necessarily mean that they're a race fan. I wanted to say that.
And I want
Yeah.
to say one thing
See,
about. Go ahead.
I was gonna say. See, I don't know who our friend. I don't know what their name is on here, but speaking to our friend who said that. See, I think Floyd is a great fighter. I just don't think he's above reproach. I can say he's a great fighter and still critique him, which I think are just valid critiques. But that's just me. But I do think Floyd's a great fighter.
Everybody gets critiqued, and by like everybody is subject to critique. Nobody's fucking perfect. Floyd lost to Castillo, in my opinion. So that 50-0 to me isn't 50-0.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So, but
he beat over exaggerating shit too.
Yeah. Well, people shit on it. Oh, Shea Mosley was old and he ducked Vernon Forrest and okay, come on. Like if you look to shit on somebody, you can find a way to shit on somebody's record. Anybody.
That's real.
Yeah,
That's real.
everybody got a blemish somehow.
What's that?
Right.
I say everybody got some type of blemish on their record.
Yeah, everybody. I'm thinking of all the undefeated fighters, right? We got Ricardo Lopez, we got Floyd, we got Rocky, we got Ward and Calzaghe. All right, let's go down. Floyd, Castillo, I thought beat him. Andre Ward, I thought Kovalev beat him the first time. Rocky Marciano, I'm not sure if anybody if he won any bullshit decisions. He was losing some fights, but he knocked him out. So him, I'm not sure. Calzaghe, did we think Hopkins beat Calzaghe?
I did. I just rewatched that. Damn, that's ironic. 2 days ago.
That's a good.
Okay.
That's
2 days ago, I watched it.
It's debatable. So Calzaghe possibly lost. Ricardo Lopez, he had that one draw, which I believe he knocked the dude out in the rematch. But did people think he lost that draw, or they thought he won that draw? Does anybody know? Because I'm not.
You say who?
Ricardo Lopez.
I'm not too familiar with him.
I'm not exactly. I can't speak on it.
51-0, but he had that one draw. That's why.
That was against Rosendo Alvarez, the Nicaraguan fighter.
Casey, you're boxing, man. I like you. So did they think that he lost that fight, or did they think? Because I think I remember that.
Yeah, he was losing. He got knocked down too.
So he should have lost, you think, or it should have been a draw?
He got knocked down. It was a technical draw.
But how did you score it, homie?
Right. How did you? Who do you think?
Rosendo Alvarez. Because he was giving Ricardo. I think he was Ricardo's toughest opponent.
Okay, so then the only one we have left
is
the only one we have is Rocky.
Play it again, homie.
And
you brought it.
And I don't remember, but
wait, ain't the fight that you say Floyd lost in? That's when he came back and beat dude, right?
Oh, he fucked him up
in the rematch. He fried him. Yeah,
he had an injury, which I believe because he looked so much better in the rematch. But it doesn't matter.
I was about to say he watched dog.
He what? Yeah, he fucked him up.
Watched him.
And I don't agree with people who are like, "Oh, Maidana beat." I've had people say this all the time.
Nah.
Floyd lost to Castillo, which I agree, but then they go Maidana, and Cotto and Oscar, and I'm like, no,
Cotto was
Oscar
crazy.
almost beat him, but nah, he beat those.
Yes.
They were. That's how good Floyd was. Even when their fights were close, people were like, oh, he lost.
Mhm.
Like, no, they were just close.
They throwing a lot of. They just telling all them punches be thrown, and they really all them shots landing on your shoulders and elbows. They ain't really landing
Exactly.
shit.
Maidana was
Yep.
tough though.
Maidana was tough. Maidana had, I call it the parachute punch. Shit would drop down
Right.
from the fucking sky.
Out of the sky.
I hate that
Yeah, I
he
feel you.
beat my guy, but you got to give it to him. He was hell of a fighter.
Yo, Yaya and Broner was so cocky that day. That was a legendary entrance and a legendary exit. I'm sorry, homie.
Yeah, man. Nah, Broner, but yeah. So I'm curious. Nobody knows. Casey, do you know about Rocky? Is there any fight that Rocky arguably they thought that he should have lost the decision? Nah, right?
I mean, outside of the Jersey Joe Walcott fight, he was losing, but no.
Yeah, that was a knockout. So yeah, we can't argue that.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah,
Instead
so
of fucking,
Rocky, you know what? Rocky
He's
might be
behind on points.
he might be the only one out of everybody who actually was purely undefeated.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass.
I did it.
thank you.
I did it.
I appreciate it.
They say Joe Calzaghe. Joe Calzaghe arguably could have lost to David Reed,
David
Reed. Okay.
the British boxer back in the 90s.
Oh, I was like, David Reed never fought Joe Calzaghe. He was a 54
Yes, he
pound.
did.
No, I'm talking about gold medalist David Reed.
No, not that one.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought you meant at first. I was like, what?
That's the one that people say controversial.
Okay. That one and also Hopkins, right?
Exactly.
To me, I think he beat Hopkins fairly though. I'm not gonna say
Okay.
that controversial.
So you think
Did you have a 7-5? Because like I said, I just watched it 2 days ago. I went back.
Yeah, that's probably one that I say he actually won that one.
Okay.
All
What made you watch
Calzaghe,
that? Not Casey. I meant CJ. What made you watch that randomly a few days ago?
I don't know. Just chilling. Had some free time. 4th of July weekend.
Got you. Yayan said, Yayan, why you type when you're in here with us? It's so fucking weird. Salvador Sanchez ever had a controversial win? Well, he died too early, so we don't really. And he lost. He actually straight up. Who beat him? Wilfredo Benitez? No, who beat him? Who beat Salvador?
No, he didn't lose. No, that's incorrect. No, he lost, I believe, early in like his first 5 or 10 fights.
Okay, yeah.
I
Now,
think.
what about Hagler's first 2 losses? Were both of those legit, or one of them was bullshit?
One of them was bullshit. One of them was legit.
Okay.
Yeah.
According to Hagler, he didn't lose either fight. So you go off his. He said he was in Philly. Both the fights were in Philly, right?
Yeah.
Against Philly fighters. So he said he didn't lose. So I think I go with his word. But
yeah,
but hey,
too.
What's that?
Yeah, he came back and brutally knocked them out. Both of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's what Ricardo Lopez did in his draw. He came back and knocked money out cold, and then Floyd too. Let's be honest, Floyd came back and beat Castillo, undeniably. You know what I mean? So but that's crazy. Like every fighter except I guess Rocky has had a questionable. Nobody's undefeated except Rocky. That's interesting. Wow. And he only helped
Chavez had his share of controversy.
Oh my God, Chavez
he had like three of them you could name. Like
67-0. It should have been over. Meldrick Taylor should have got that victory.
The first Meldrick Taylor fight,
of course,
the Pernell Whitaker, and the second Frankie Randall fight when he quit from that little sissy ass cut he had on his forehead.
Yeah.
But that didn't matter anymore, Casey, because Frankie Randall had already fucking dropped him and beat him the fight before. So
I know the second fight though he was winning too. He had Chavez hurt the second time too.
Mm-hmm. He just had his number, but Chavez was over. I believe at that point he was already done. He was in his early 30s, which at the time was
still controversial though.
Yeah. No, for real. I remember that. I remember
some even say the Puerto Rican fighter Juan Laporte.
Ooh, I've interviewed him. I love him.
No, from the 80s.
Yeah, I interviewed him. Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
He gave Chavez a tough fight too.
Yeah, Juan Laporte. Yep, he's a New Yorker, but Puerto Rican. Yeah, I've interviewed him. He's a cool dude. Yeah, man. Shit.
Juan Laporte actually he gave even Ozma Nelson a tough fight.
Azuma Nelson, absolutely he did.
Yeah,
Jet
I,
Ron Laporte say kind of underrated.
I want to say I appreciate people that are even better historians than me. You guys are schooling me. Salute.
Casey could fuck with me. Casey's one of the few people that could fuck with me with the
For
history. I
real.
love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah, man. One of the best fights to watch was Jeff Fennick and Lazuma Nelson. Man, they went the inside fighting was very exciting they were
Many thought
featherweight.
Osman Nelson lost the first fight, then Osman came back in the rematch and knocked him out.
And Pernell Whitaker beat the living shit out of Azuma. And Azuma was older and at a weight that Azuma was a natural featherweight. This was at lightweight, I believe, but still, that's one of Pernell Whitaker's dopest fucking. I did a video on it, got mad views where he looked like magic against Azuma, and Azuma's an all-time great.
Yeah, super featherweight. I think the top 3 super featherweights is Alexis Arguello, Floyd, and Osman Nelson.
What about Chavez?
Not
Chavez. Camacho.
Chavez will be in the top 10. I think he'd be outside the 5. You got Gennaro Hernandez. You got that Flash Alorde, the Filipino dude from the 60s. And you got a couple others.
And that's a tough one because everybody kind of vacillates between weight divisions. Some people will stay a little
Penalosa?
bit. No, I don't know what that is.
But you have to remember, Marco. You have to remember, Marco, that we're talking about guys that they didn't just they dropped down 20 pounds in the sauna and then they rehydrated back to these guys were natural, Chavez was a natural super featherweight.
Were they not they weren't losing weight back then like that?
If they were, they sure as fuck weren't rehydrating like they were today.
No, hell no. It was
harder.
same-day weigh-ins. You should know that, Marco. Same-day weigh-ins back in the day.
When did that stop?
I believe that stopped in the late. But I think the late 80s.
I don't pay attention.
Early 90s.
I break down fights. I don't pay attention to that shit. I never really cared about that shit.
I got
late
you.
90s, you said?
That sounds about
the late
accurate.
80s, early 90s.
Okay.
I believe that's when they moved to day before weigh-ins. But it makes a difference. And when you're talking about the gravity of what it means to jump up a weight class or 2 weight classes, that makes those whatever 3 or 4 pounds mean a lot more.
Yeah. True. Yeah, Rob, man, that's what we were talking about. That's the whole stream was about what Roy did, man. What Floyd did. Very disrespectful. Bitch ass. Another extra crispy 2-piece from my man, Julio. Appreciate you, my brother. Rocky Lockridge gave Chavez a good fight. Majority decision. True that. Good callback.
Rocky Lockridge knocked out Roger Mayweather.
Rocky Lockridge is the guy. You ever see that video? It's a viral video where a black guy just looks. It's a black guy. And he looks at his son, and they're sitting in
he knocked out.
They're sitting in like a therapist's office, and the guy goes, "Dad, I love you," and he just goes, "Ah!" He starts screaming. You ever see that? People use that all the time. That was Rocky Lockridge.
It was that show Intervention, I think, because he was addicted to crack or something like that.
Yes.
You guys are fucking crazy.
No, straight up. And there's a video of Rocky Lockridge knocking somebody out in the street from he's dead now. He passed away 20 years ago. Some dude was fucking with him and he knocked him cold. Rocky was in his 50s or 60s when he knocked him out. You can look that up to this day. But anyway, nobody gives a shit. According to ChatGPT, the IBF stopped in 1993. Okay. Yeah, knocked him out bad. Yeah, he knocked him out bad in the street. Put him out. But all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. It is late over here, almost 1 a.m. I appreciate you guys. This was dope. I will be back at it tomorrow afternoon. This was a good talk, though, people. Good talk.
Have a good night, fellas.
All right, everybody. Peace.
One.
All right.